This is also off a past paper. The cartoon, so if you just look at it quickly, right. Once you've looked at the cartoon, look at the questions. Now, when you send in your questions, I'd like you to kind of tell me what it is that you're battling with. Even with all the language that I was doing, those are all off past papers. And I'm very happy to do them because there are so many different things and it's worthwhile looking at what they're asking. But it would be nice if you said to me, like the student who emailed me, can I say warned or being warned? You know, it would be nice just to have that little bit of insight into what's causing a problem. So if you look at the questions, I think the first one is we need to look for a visual clue. Then it's what does she do? Then what does she expect? 2 techniques. Now that might be tricky to show how she closes the door. The emoji reflects the feelings. Then we've got a language question. Write the word as a noun. So that's really quite easy. Let's do it now. A person who is entrepreneurial is an entrepreneur. That's the person. And I think that's the easiest one. You could turn it into an abstract noun with, entrepreneurship, for example, but it's just easier to do it that way. And then discuss whether she's justified in her actions. Now, if we look at our keywords, at our question words, we are stating what, state, explain, and we have to discuss. So the questions are fairly straightforward and the keywords are fairly obvious. So let's see what we can do. State 1 visual clue that she can't see Thandi. Very straightforward. She's got a newspaper in front of her face. Not a problem. 1 mark. What does she do? Now, this is more interesting. What must she have done? I think you've got to say more than she puts out her tongue. Why? Because of the old woman's response here. Look at it. Her eyes have become enormous. The newspaper looks as if she's shaken it, so she's got a shock. The lines here indicate movement, so she's jumped. So there's a sense that she's given her a shock of some kind. So what has she done? Maybe you want to say that she draws her attention. Does she breathe? Does she wait? Does she do anything? Does she cough? And then she gives the old woman the most terrible shock because of that mask that she's wearing, and she says it is a life-size emoji. So in some way, she's drawn the old woman's attention and terrified her. Right. What does she expect in frame 3? She says to her, you can be my first investor. So what does it mean if you invest? You give somebody money so they can develop their company, their product, their sales. So she's expecting her to pay Thandi so that Thandi can produce life-size emojis on a larger scale. Right, notice it's only for 1 mark. So I'm not sure if it's for the investing money, give her money. Try not to use invest because we've got investor. Give her money, or whether it's money plus to develop her emojis, develop a company, or at least some kind of business. Right, 2 techniques to show how she closes the door. And what frame are we in? Quite important, we're in frame 4. So 2 techniques. Remember, state it. So you start with saying the word slam shows that the door has been banged. Then talk about the bold, large font. Then talk about the 2 exclamation marks. And then, if you can, describe that. You can simply call them lines that show movement. Remember, that's what we said here. We call them movement lines. Any 2 techniques. Don't state all 4 or 5 or 6, just 2, 1 mark each. How does the emoji reflect her feelings? So you need to say that the emoji looks disappointed or angry. How do we know? I would say angry because the eyebrows are drawn in and the mouth is turned down. Remember, you cannot just say because of the facial expression. You have to describe that facial expression. And this is as true for home language as it is for FAL. Now, is she justified? You are allowed to say yes or no. You don't get marks for yes or no. You get marks for the quality of your argument, which must be based on the text. And this is as important in literature as it is here. Is she justified in her actions? So her actions are to expel Thandi from the house, to put Thandi outside. Is she justified? What does that mean? Does she have reasons that we would accept as reasonable? And you go back and you explain. Yes, in that she got a terrible fright. There was no reason for the child to scare her like that. She's an old lady and she's upset. Or, no, it's a child. There's a child living in the house. You're expecting the child to behave the way that children do.